Hey everyone, in the last video I showed you how to set up your room for Pong on GameMaker. In this video, let's add some code to get the ball moving and bouncing. So in our room we have a ball, an object ball, we have a paddle, we have a wall down here, then we have some death walls on the left and right side. So the goal here is to make our Pong ball start moving and then bounce off of this wall. To do that, we're going to actually do a couple things. We're going to create a speed for X that moves the ball this way. So our X speed is this way, and our Y speed is going to move the ball this way. And when we use X speed and Y speed together, when we combine them, what's going to happen is we're essentially going to get this diagonal movement of our ball here. And as our ball moves diagonally, when it hits a wall, we have to decide if the X direction or the Y direction should move or should change. So when the ball hits this wall right here this way, we would expect it to bounce this way like this. So if we kind of take a look at how this works, our X direction the whole time is still moving to the right, but our Y direction before it hits the wall is moving down like this. And when our Y direction, when it hits the wall, our Y direction moves up. So we need to change our Y speed whenever the ball hits a wall. So we're going to add some code that makes an X and a Y speed. We're going to make it move both speeds at the same time. Then we're going to add some collision code for when it hits a wall. We're going to change the Y speed. So that's kind of the math or the logic behind how this is actually going to work. So let's get this going. We're going to do that in our object ball, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a create event. We're going to do this in code, so I'm going to say don't ask again for this project. I'm going to click OK. In our code, the first thing we're going to do is let's make a Boolean called game started. And this is just so that the ball doesn't move until we want it to. So let's make that equal to false. The game hasn't started yet. The next thing we're going to add is let's add an X speed. So X speed is going to be equal to any number you want. I'm going to start off with 4. Like that. Don't make the number too big. Your ball will move too fast. Let's make a Y speed, and let's make that equal to 4 as well. So in our create event, these variables that we're using, game started, X speed, and Y speed, those are all created right here. All these little flags are saying that, hey, you're only using this once. That's okay. So now we're going to add an event. Let's do a key pressed event, and I'm going to use space for mine. And what I'm going to do is when I press spacebar, I want the game to start. So I'm going to say game started equals true. So when I press the spacebar, our game is going to start. The next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an event called a step event. A step event runs every step of the game or every frame of the game. Our GameMaker games run at 60 frames per second or 60 steps per second. So this code is going to happen 60 times per second. And this is something that we want to, we put stuff in the step event for things that we want to happen constantly. So if we think about our Pong game, we want our ball to move constantly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the X coordinate of our ball equal the X coordinate plus our X speed. So that's going to make our ball move to the right because our X speed is 4. We're going to change our Y to equal the Y plus the Y speed. That's going to make our ball move down 4. And when we combine those, it's going to make our ball move diagonally. Because we want this to happen after we press space, we have to add our Boolean in an if statement at the top. If game started equals, or check to see if it is true, we want to do two things. So we're going to wrap them in curly braces like that. So far what we have here is we have a X speed and a Y speed. We have a space bar key press event to start the game, and we have our ball moving. Let's press F5 and check to see if this works. And so what will happen here is My GameMaker game's going to show up like this. I have this stupid overlay thing show up, so I just click on it to get rid of it. My ball's not moving. If I press spacebar, it's going to move, and it's going to run right off the screen. So that's perfect. The only thing I don't like about this game so far is that the ball's not really in the middle of the room. So in the create event, we're going to make it move right away to the middle. We're going to say that the x-coordinate equals the room width divided by 2. So put it in the room, center it in the room horizontally, and our y equals the room height divided by 2. So that's going to put that ball right in the center. Now the last thing we kind of need to add here is we need to add the bouncing. And the bouncing is a collision event. So we're going to add a collision event, and we're going to bounce off of the object wall. That is the pink wall. In my game, that's the pink wall. So just a reminder of what we want to have happen here is that when the ball moves like this, it's going to bounce off of this wall right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the y speed. It's moving down here, so it's a positive y speed. Here we're going to change it to a negative y speed because that is the opposite of it. So basically we just want to make the y speed turn negative when it hits the wall. So let's go to the OBJ ball, like this. In our collision event, we're going to simply say the y speed of our ball is going to equal negative y speed. And that is simply going to change whatever this is into its opposite. So if it is a negative 4, a double negative 4 is actually a positive 4. So like that, this code changes a negative 4 into a 4. If our speed was 3, like this, it would change it into a negative 3. So that's what's happening there. Let's press F5 and check it. Okay, we're going to just press the space bar, and our ball bounces off of that pink wall, which is perfect. Okay, so that's how we can make our ball move and bounce. Basically, you're going to want to put some sort of code like this in your paddles to make the ball bounce off your paddles. But that's basically what we want to do here.